Welcome to this new project. This one is about using mask animations to do cool stuff like this, where you're having parts of the actual video environment sort of interacting with your text layers or really any other layers that you have. How this saw kind of covers up the DIY text. And of course, I added a little animation of this video text falling over to the side after it gets chopped off. I thought that was pretty cool. So you can use this project file. It's called text with mask animation, or you can just bring in the saw MP4 file. So once you do that, drag that into the new composition window, and then let's find the part of this where we want to animate. So it's going to be right here around 6 seconds, and then it's going to go to around 13 seconds. So drag in our work area. Go up to composition, trim work, comp to work area. Now let's add our two text layers. So what I'll do is just press T. I'll set my text to white. And what did I call this? Oh, DIY video. Yeah. So I'll type in DIY video. Okay. And let's make this a little bit smaller. Actually, what I'm going to do, this is going to be two separate layers. So let me take out video. One is going to be DIY. And let's add a stroke to it. So clicking this button right here for the stroke, we can add a stroke. Okay. Make it a little bit smaller. So it's about the size of that pipe. Cool. And then also let's just rotate it a little bit. Press R for rotation. So it's kind of more aligned with this horizontal line on the saw itself. Now what I can do is duplicate this just by pressing Command D, dragging it over, and just double clicking and typing in video. So now we have our text. Now let's position it so it's going to be in the right position. So I want the video actually to be a little bit to the right more. So it's more in front of the saw. And DIY over here, so it's completely covered by the saw and then this saw blade cover. Okay, cool. So first let's animate the DIY text so it's sort of disappearing with this saw. So what I want to do is zoom in first so I have a clear picture of what I'm doing, and then go to right before the saw would start to cover it. And then here, with the DIY text selected, I'm going to take the pen tool and I'm going to just mask around this saw. So just clicking over around the blade cover, something like that. And around the blade. And then up and around. Up and around doesn't have to be perfect. Once I close this mask, what happens is the text disappears because this is saying that I want the text to appear inside this mask. Let me drop down the mask properties and change it from add to subtract. So now it appears wherever the mask is not. Okay, so now it appears outside of the mask. So let me drop down the mask and let's add just a little bit of feathering. Let's do like 5 points or something like that. And here I'm going to click the stopwatch next to mask path to set a keyframe there, telling After Effects at this point I want the path to be right there. Then what I can do is just go either one frame at a time, or sometimes you can jump ahead a few frames. And I want to move this mask along with the saw. So if I go forward in time, and then with the mask path selected, and then with my selection tool, I can just move this whole mask down just a little bit. Now let's go forward to about a second forward, move it down, like so. And if you want to make any adjustments to the individual points, because you can see here now when I zoom in, the blade goes a little bit lower. Instead of clicking mask 1 or mask path, just click masks And now I can take the individual points and bring them down. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Maybe put that up like so. Cool. Now let's go forward another half second. Select the mask path again to bring everything down a little bit, but now again, clicking mask to just bring down the blade part just a little bit more. Go forward even more. Select mask path, drop this down like so. And then here we'll again go into our mask points and bring that up just a little bit. And then go to the very end, take our mask path and bring it all the way down like so. Okay, so if I play through this close up, you can see how that looks. That's pretty darn cool. I think it makes it disappear. Now you can play around with this, and it looks like it's actually going behind the blade. Now I noticed that right around here it gets a little off, and that's because the speed is a little off. So I might have to set another keyframe. So here, let's make sure that it's not too far down. And then go forward a little bit and then just bring it up a little bit. Forward again, bring it up a little bit. At the end, it kind of goes down a little bit faster. So I think that looks a lot better. Cool, so now let's zoom out. And of course, zoomed out with not as much detail, it'll look a lot better. Cool, so that's how you get that look of the text kind of being cut out from the back with this saw blade. Now, what about this video sort of being sawed off and then dropping? Well, that's just with a simple rotation animation and then a position animation. So let me close down the DIY text, and right around here, I want the video to start sort of being sawed off. So around 9 seconds for video, press R. First, I want to make sure that my anchor point is in the bottom left-hand side of the video text. So if you take your pan behind tool, make sure that the anchor point is over here so that it rotates from that point, not from, say, over here on the top left. Okay, so make sure it's in that bottom left-hand corner. Set a keyframe right around here, and then go about to where it would be completely cut off, like so, and then start rotating it just down as if it was starting to bend or something. You can play around with this. Looks like it's pushing down. So let's see what it looks like. And then right around there, it's going to drop. So here, let's press P to bring up position. And then go forward, and it's going to drop because it's already gone through, and we're going to drop it down. Let's add motion blur, and then let's just bring in our playback area. And then we can just play with the speed of this. So if we want it to go faster, we can bring those together. But I also think that it needs to rotate a little bit more after it drops. So press U to bring up both the keyframes for position and rotation. And I'll go here and just rotate it a little bit more, like 37%. Maybe even more, maybe like 53. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So that looks a little bit more natural, like it's heavily weighted on the right-hand side of the text, and as it starts to fall, it continues to fall that way and rotate that way. Cool, so let's play through this. That's pretty cool. You know, a lot of people use this kind of effect when with titles, you know, having your titles interacting with the scene itself, being revealed when people walk by, when cars go by, when all things kind of move throughout your frame. And that's one thing that you can do to make some more advanced graphics, have them interact with the video itself, not just have them on top of the video, but interacting with the video. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions about this project. Otherwise, we'll just see you in another one.